Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to my chemistry lectures with you people. So as per you know, right, we have already discussed a lot about the chapter solid state, right? And now it's the time that we should be moving on to the question answers from the NEET pattern exercise. What I have done, I have taken in all 10 questions. Like if you want, I can give you a hint of all the 10 questions that I have given. One by one, we'll be beginning up with each single question. We'll try to figure out the answer. We will also do one thing, we'll go into as much detailed answer as possible so that those people who didn't watch the lecture recordings, at least they should get an idea about the question, about the concept which is being utilized in the questions. Okay, so with this thing, let me begin up with the very first question for today's class, and the question is, let's see what does the question says. It says that a metal crystallizes with a face-centered cubic unit cell. So there is a metal and this is gonna be crystallized. So I'm simply writing, there may be a metal M and it is gonna be crystallized in face-centered cubic unit cell. Okay, so we know, right, when the atom is crystallized in a face-centered cubic unit cell, it must be having the atoms at the corners plus at the face centers. Okay. Moving further, it says that the edge length of the unit cell is 408 picometers. That means the edge length is given to us as 408 picometers. And the question is, you need to calculate the diameter of the metal atom. So what we need to calculate is the diameter. This is what is to be calculated, right? So guys, be very slowly, let's move very slowly to the answer. If he is saying that we are talking about a face-centered cubic unit cell, so I'm just drawing the side of a cube, right? Now what I'll do is, I will first draw an atom in the center of the face, and then I will draw 4 atoms, something like this. Because we know, right, in the case of a face-centered cubic unit cell, the atoms will be present at the corners. Plus, the atoms will also be present at the face centers. Now, let us consider that the edge length of the unit cell is A, which in the question, if I see, is given to me as 408 or 408 picometers. Fine enough? Now guys, see carefully, this is 90 degree. So if this is A, this is also A, so can I simply use Pythagoras theorem and we'll get the value of this diagonal equal to root 2A, right? So I can simply say that the value of face diagonal is under root 2A. Okay? Now if I am asking you to write in terms of R, you can say it is R. Okay? So you can easily say under root 2A is equal to 4R. Fine? Now guys, see, you don't need to calculate the value of R. You need to calculate the value of diameter. This complete length, which is equal to 2R, right? So can you do one thing? Root 2A is equal to 2 into 2R. This 2R can also be written as the diameter D. So you can simply say under root 2A is equal to 2 times D, right? Now you can say D is equal to under root 2A divided by 2. So if you put the value root 2 into 408 divided by 2. Am I right? So this is angstrom. Now if you calculate the value, you will end up getting the value equal to something 288 picometers. Fine? Let's see if there is an answer something like this. Come on to the question side. So 144, no. 204, no. 288, yes. So I can simply say that option number C is the correct option for this particular question, which was written as question number 1. So now you got +4, and with +4 you are getting a smiley as well. So we are done with question number 1. Okay. Having done with this, let me move on to the second question. Let's see what is there in store for you people. Okay, so coming on to the second question, that is for you people, and the question, let's read it very patiently. The question says that the percentage of free space in the body centered cubic unit cell. See, first I'll tell you the answer very quickly and then we'll go into the detailed form of the answer. You need to calculate the amount of free space in the body centered cubic unit cell. Do you remember what is the percentage efficiency? Or if you do not want to call it as percentage efficiency, you can also call it as percentage packing. So percentage packing in the case of body centered cubic unit cell is something around 68%, right? That means out of 100% space, 68% of the space is already filled up. So if 68% of the space is filled up, you can say that the remaining will be, that will be 100 minus 68, which will give you something 32%. Okay, let's see if there is an answer. Yeah. So option number C will be the correct answer. But guys, I am not asking you to mug it up. Otherwise, if you remember this value of 68%, this is really very important and can be directly used in formulas. But still, for those people who might not have watched my video lectures, for them I am gonna derive the value. See how I'll be deriving the value. For the percentage packing in the case of a body centered cubic unit cell. What I'm gonna do is, you have considered a cubic crystal. Fine. When you are going to consider a cubic crystal, now I'll ask you to place the atoms at the corner. Also, I'll be asking you to place one of the atom in the center of the body. Okay. So guys, see carefully, see very carefully. Don't you think when you have placed this pink atom in the center of the body, then all these three diagonal elements, they are touching each other, right? So see, if I am saying that the edge length is A, this is also A. And just 2 minutes back, we found out the length of face diagonal, which was under root 2A. Okay, let me just give them numbers. A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Fine enough? Guys, consider the triangle ACD with an angle ACD equal to 90 degree. Fine? You can see, right, that there is a triangle. Let me just draw the triangle. Something like this you can consider. So also guys, you can very simply say that this A, D and this pink one, these are also the diagonal elements. So they will also touch each other. Okay. So you can say, right, AC square plus CD square will be equal to this diagonal, which is AD square. So AC square will be equal to 2A square plus A square. That means you can say the length of body diagonal. So the length of body diagonal will be found out to be square. So this will be equal to 3A square. That means you can now simply say that the body diagonal will be, so body diagonal will be coming out to be under root 3A. Point number 1, right? Now see carefully guys, we will say either this is the body diagonal, the one I am drawing in dark white, or you can say this pink one is the body diagonal. But in case of body diagonal, actually the figure that looks like is this, this and this, right? And this is the body diagonal. So see R, 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 R. That means you will finally end up getting the value under root 3a is equal to 4r. Fine. Moving further, how do we need to, how do we calculate the percentage packing? So percentage packing is basically calculated as what? As volume occupied to be divided by the total volume available. To be multiplied with a factor of 100, right? Now guys see, it's a cubic unit cell. If it's a cubic unit cell, the volume available can be simply written as A cube. But my question is to find out the volume occupied. If anyhow or the other I get to know what is the value of volume occupied, I'll get the final answer. Let's see further. So volume occupied is what? Don't you think volume occupied can be simply written as volume of one atom? To be multiplied by the total number of atoms. What is the volume of one atom? It can simply be written as 4 by 3 pi r cube to be multiplied by the number of atoms. In the case of body centered cubic unit cell, atoms are present at the corners plus at the body center. Right? How many atoms are there in the corners? 8 with a contribution of 1 by 8 plus 1 complete atom is there in the body center, making it a total of 2. So we finally got the value as 2 multiplied by 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay. So you finally got the value of volume occupied. You were there having the value of volume available. Divide the 2. So you can simply say 2 into 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now you know the conversion A and so you know the relationship between A and R, right? Under root 3a is equal to 4r. So this also you know, substitute the values. If you substitute the values finally, you will end up getting the total percentage as 68%. Okay? And then you can simply proceed with how I have done the question. So finally you will do 100 minus 68 and the answer will come out to be 32%. Good enough. So this is also done. Now I think I should be moving on to the third question. But before that, I need to clear the board for you guys. Okay. Fine. So we have the third question that is given to us. And the question is, if A is the length of the side of the cube, that means the edge length is given as A. Okay. And we are again considering a cubic unit cell. The distance between the body centered atom. Okay. Let me write this statement once again. Distance between the body centered atom and one corner atom in the cube is what? Guys, see, this question is almost same as what we have done in the previous question. Listen to me very, very carefully. So he is saying, consider a cube Now, if you are considering a cube, one atom is present in the center of the body, and one atom is there, one here, one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And I just told you 3-4 minutes back that if an atom is present at the center of the body, then they must be touching each other in the diagonal fashion, right? And when they will be touching each other, so he has asked, listen to the statement. He said what should be the distance between the body centered atom and one corner atom. But they are touching, right? So when they are touching, don't you think I should simply consider this particular center and this particular center? And I am not sure, I didn't show it in the figure, but they actually touch each other. So when they are touching each other, then don't you think the distance between them is nothing but the radius of center atom, the body center atom, plus the radius of corner atom. But both of them are same, right? And if both of them are same, so this will be equal to 2r. So we need to calculate the value of 2r. That's the question. Okay. So guys, from the previous question, now you realize, right, that under root 3a is equal to 4r, right? But if I write under root 3a, can I write it to be 2r? What is the final value of 2r? We need to calculate the final value of 2r. So this should be under root 3a divided by 2. And this is the answer. Right? Let's see if we get some answer. Root 3a by 2. 2 by root 3a. Root 3a by 4. 4 by root 3a. Root 3a by 2. Cool enough? So we have finally got the answer for question number 3 as well. Oh my God, a sigh of relief. Let us now finally come on to the 4th question. Okay. Moving on to the question. Oh, it's a big question, but let's see what does the question says. So the question simply says that structure of a mixed oxide is cubic close packed. Okay, point number 1. Point number 2. So we have got first of all a mixed oxide. What is mixed oxide? Oxide means there must be O2 atoms. These are must, right? Mixed means there may be 2 or more metals. So what did we get for this first half of the first line? This is what I have written in white and blue. This is cubic close packing structure. So it is a part of CCP. Cubic close packed structure. Okay. Now he says that, guys, see, if it's a cubic close packed structure, how many effective number of atoms are there? You know, right, in the case of cubic close packed structure, the atoms will be present at the corners plus at the face centers. Am I right? How many corners are there? 8. Contribution 1 by 8. Faces 6. Contribution 1 by 2. Making it a total of 4. Okay. So the effective number of atoms is 4, right? We know, right, if the effective number of atoms is 4, then the number of octahedral voids. Octahedral voids will also be 4. Point number 2. And also we know that the number of tetrahedral voids. So tetrahedral voids will be double the number of octahedral voids, which will be 8. So we know these 3 things, right? Let us continue further with the question. The question says that the cubic unit cell of metal oxide is composed of oxide ions. That means oxide ions are present in the CCP fashion. CCP fashion means how many oxide ions will be there? 4. So how many O will be there? 4. Okay. So can I simply write O4? Okay. Now moving further, 1/4 of the tetrahedral voids are occupied by the divalent metal atom A. Point number 1. He is saying divalent. Divalent means that A will be having a total of +2 charge. And how many such atoms are there? He said 1/4 of tetrahedral voids. So tetrahedral voids are 8. So 1/4 of 8 will get the answer as 2. Okay. So guys, see carefully. If I am saying oxygen were there in 2 minus, and how many such oxygens were there? 4. So making it a total of how many negative charges? 8. So we got a total of 8 negative charges, right? Now see, how many A plus are there? A 2 plus, finally we get 2. So how many positive charges are there? So 2 into 2, 4 positive charges. Okay. Moving further, and the octahedral voids are occupied by a monovalent atom metal B. Right. So that means all the octahedral voids have been occupied. Let us see. So how many octahedral voids were there? 4. And all of them have been occupied by B plus. So when all of them were occupied by B plus, so what should I say? We will say 4 B plus are there, making it a total of 4 positive. First see whether the charge is balanced or not. 8 negative, 4 positive, 4 positive, making it a total of neutral. Right? Now see, are we getting any formula of the compound? So we have A2, so 2A are there, B4, 4 B's are there, and O4, 4 O's are there, right? So if I figure out the final answer, let us make it simplified. So we will get A B2O2. Let us see if we are having any options. AbO2, no. A2BO2, no. 3 is not an option, so no. AB2O2 is the correct answer. Oh my God. So finally we have got the answer to our 4th question as well. Okay. Fine. Let us continue further. Let me move on to question number 5th now. So preparing the board for you people. And the question number 5th that we have is the number of octahedral voids which are present per atom in a cubic close packed structure is. Again, it's the same type of question. So the question is, we need to calculate the number of octahedral voids. Guys, see the mistake that you people will do. Just 2-3 minutes back we have done, okay, it is still written on the board. You can come to this particular part. Guys, see into this particular section. What I had written earlier was basically for a face-centered cubic unit cell, right? In the case of face-centered cubic unit cell, we just got to know that total number of atoms were 4. Also, I told you that the total number of octahedral voids are 4, right? Whereas the number of tetrahedral voids are 8. Many students, what they'll do, they'll simply see you need to calculate the number of octahedral voids in CCP unit cell. And you'll be like, ma'am, we have marked it up, answer should be 4, right? And many of you people will go to option number B. But see the question carefully. The question says number of octahedral voids per atom which is present in CCP structure. That means he is asking you number of octahedral voids divided by, per atom means the total number of atoms. How many octahedral voids are there, guys? See the answer carefully. 4. How many number of atoms are there? 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. That means there is only and only one octahedral void with respect to every atom present in the CCP crystal. And hence not B, not A, not D, but option number C will be our correct answer. Okay. So now guys, please note it down so that we can further continue with the other question of the exercise. Okay guys, so having done with this particular thing, let us now move on to the next question, which is question number 6. So half of the lecture is almost done. Another 5 questions are waiting for you. Let us pick up all the questions one by one. So question number 6, what does it say? It says that lithium metal crystallizes in a body-centered cubic crystal. Lithium metal or whatever metal crystallizes, I don't care anything, but it is a body-centered cubic unit cell. Okay. If the length of the side of the unit cell of lithium is 351 picometers. Yeah, I don't know why he has written such a big statement. He could have simply said that if the edge length is 351 picometers, you need to simply find out the atomic radius of lithium. That's it. So you need to calculate the atomic radius of lithium. Guys, see, don't you think again and again the questions are repeated? I have simply taken all these questions from past year NEET papers, right? When it was AIPMT, now it is known as NEET. So I have collected all these questions from those exercises. But see, again and again in every question, they would have used these formulas like what is the body diagonal, what is the length of phase diagonal. Now here he simply says it is a body-centered cubic unit cell. And if it's a body-centered cubic unit cell, I will again draw the same diagram. So I will simply consider a cube. So when you consider the cube, then the lithium atom is present at the corners. See, there is no another atom, but the same lithium atom is present at the center also, right? And you know that the atom which is present at the body center will touch the corner atoms. So this is the body diagonal, and the length of the body diagonal you know is under root 3a. Just now we calculated, and this is again equal to radius of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is equal to 4r, right? Now what is the edge length which is given to me? Divided by 4, and if you do the calculation, I am a very good calculator. So if you do the calculation, you will get the answer nearly 152 picometers. Let's see if there is an option. Oh my god. So you know I am always in love with the questions whose option number A is the correct answer. This statement I would have repeated I think n number of times, right? So finally we got the answer to question number 6 as well. Okay, having done question number 6, let us now proceed on to the next question, which is question number. Oh, it's a new question. The packing efficiency of a two-dimensional square unit cell shown below is. Don't do the simple stupid mistake of directly saying it's a 3D. No, it's not. He has simply said it's a two-dimensional square unit cell. So when he is saying it's two-dimensional square unit cell, you need to calculate the packing efficiency. So what you will do? You will say this should be area occupied divided by the total area available. Multiplied by 100. Okay. By the way, what is the total area available? Can I consider the edge length to be A? And this is also A since it's a cubic unit cell, right? Now if the edge length is A and A, so what's the area of a square? You can say area of a square can be written as A square. Now we simply need to figure out what is the area occupied. So guys, can you say that the area occupied is something like this? 1/4 of the area of this circle plus 1/4 of the area of this circle plus, so making it a total of area of half the total circle, plus 1/4 of the area of this circle, that means 3/4 of the area of the circle, plus again 1/4 of the area of this circle, right? That means a total of area of one circle. The radius is r. So what is the area of a circle? Can you simply say pi r square? Right? But in the numerator it is r, in the denominator it is a. So we need to find out the relationship between a and r. Can you now simply say that, ma'am, a is equal to 2r? Right? So when you are simply saying that a is equal to 2r, substitute the value here. What you will be getting? Pi r square divided by 2 into 2, 4, r square into 100, which is pi by 4, and if you calculate, the answer will be something 78.5%. Let's look into the options. 39, no. 68, no. 74, no. 78, yes. Even I like these questions. These are good, right? See, you say no, 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 yes. Or you say yes, no, no, no. So that's good, right? Okay, so finally, we are now done with question number 10th also, which was the last question of this particular series. So guys, these were all the questions that I picked out from all the past year NEET papers that have been asked. So maybe some of the questions were from AIPMT, maybe some of them were from NEET, or maybe some of these questions are like, they are kind of expected questions to be asked in the upcoming exams. So go through the recording, do the questions by yourself, try to do more such questions by yourself. So if you have any doubts, please feel free to contact me anytime. So till that time, before my next video comes, till that